sometimes, I can't remember what other divination I said this in, but like, sometimes you be like, damn, am I doing too much? Is this too much for the people? Should I pull back, right? That's a compromise. That is a compromise. Maybe if they can't take you at your fullness, they don't deserve it. Point blank, period. Some of you have been allowing the things that you have been conditioned to create projections, right? We could talk all day about projections coming from other people. That's very much so valid, right? But I feel like with this is you allowing yourself in the ways in which you've been conditioned to think, to believe, to behave, to create projections about your authenticity, about how you show up. And that's again why it's so important for you to learn what your inner voice sounds like. Is that your voice or is that the voice of some, I'm trying not to cuss so much until the extended. But is that somebody who could never do what you do? That put that thought in your head? Is that somebody that could never shoulder your burden? That could never, you know what I'm saying, go through the transformations and the rebirths that you've gone through? Huh? Oh, okay.
And your cousin too, rolling down the strip on gold, coming up slamming Cadillac doors. Me and you, your mama and your cousin too.
Hi, water signs. Welcome to Creative Divinations, where I divine for the creative in you. I am Becca. We are here to do your April 2025 creative divination. And the reason that I am laughing is because this is my second time doing this. I did a whole ass divination. About 30 minutes. About 30 minutes. I go to film the extended, and I go back to look at where I left off, and the entire clip was corrupted. So, water signs. I'm not repulling these cards, okay? Because I felt like this was a very important message for y'all. So, we're going to redo this message, okay? All those things being said, I hope you guys are doing great. Before we get into it, this is a month where I start to do the extendeds. So you're going to get 30 minutes out of me here on the Tubes of You. And if you enjoy this divination or there's something more that you want to explore in regards to this divination, I am doing the extendeds, which is another 30 minutes of divination, and you can find that below in the description box. They are $5.99. You have lifetime access. It is accessed through an unlisted YouTube link, and yeah, I'm excited to start to do all the extended stay. The ones that I have been doing have turned out beautifully. So, all of those things being said, we are going to get into this reading again. Okay, water signs, your overlying energy is discovery, and it says new ideas, people, or opportunities may be coming your way. While there is still work to do to reach your goal, you may discover new strengths and passions along the way, right? Bottom of the deck, we have authenticity and we have stuck in fear. Authenticity says be your divine self at all times. You weren't designed to fit in. Break away from expectations and fully express yourself in your own unique way, and you will be a magnet for success. Stuck in fear says you're thinking of all the things that could go wrong, but what about all the things that could go right? Make a diagram shift in your thinking and take inspired action anyway. So, just off, also, bottom of the deck, we have Whippoorwill. Warning message, warning of unrest, something needs your attention. Okay, so, water signs. What I was saying in your previous divination, okay, is I feel like if you went through this eclipse season through all of the transits that we've been going through, because remember, we just went through a lunar eclipse in Virgo, we went through a solar eclipse in Aries, we're in Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, both are retrograde in Aries. Neptune entered Aries. I think Venus and Mercury are about to um circle back and go back into Pisces for a little bit. Like, there's a lot going on, is my point. Okay. And not to judge. Okay, not to judge. But I just feel like if you came out of these transits, or you're coming out of these transits, and nothing has shifted for you, and I'm not even talking about externally, I'm talking about inwardly, right? Your innards. I love that word. I don't get to use it often. Your innards, okay? Your innards. If something hasn't shifted, if something hasn't bubbled up, if something hasn't made you think and what's the word? Consider some things, be made aware of some things that may need to shift, right? Um, you didn't eclipse, right? Because there's how, please. And don't get me wrong, everybody is different. But this to me is just such a profound time, and I'm not even an astrologer. I'm not even aware of all of, the things that are going on astrologically. Side note, if you are in the market for an astrologer, you want to, I don't know, maybe you booked a divination and it hit, but it's just something else, you need a little bit more, right? I suggest going to get your natal chart read. I'm not the one to do that, but I know a couple. We got my sis Bree over at Luminary Beauty. I have never, child. She is one of the few people that, actually one of two, and the other one is, yeah. Um, there's no words. Amazing. The way that she makes sure that you understand what she is giving you and the care that she puts into it. I'm going to leave her link down below. Then we got Ra's Cosmic Wisdom. Ra is a Vedic and sidereal astrologer. So if that is more your judge, I recommend checking out Ra. Then we have Shanice, which you can find. I don't know if Shanice is here on YouTube, but I know she's on TikTok. She recently did a reading for me, and my God, okay, so highly recommend Shanice. But yeah, go get you a natal chart reading. I'm just saying. Anyway, I just feel like we're living in such a profound time right now, where it's just like, if there's something that has not been brought to the forefront for you that needs to shift or change, I need you to lock it in a little bit harder, because I feel like, and I said this a couple of times, I think I said this in the Earth sign reading. Also, side note, when I was doing this divination before, I kept calling y'all air signs, so some of y'all might need to go watch that air sign video, okay? But I said this in the earth sign video, that if you don't take the opportunity that we are being given right now to completely shift our lives, to completely become different people, and utilize the knowledge and the lessons that we have acquired up until this point in our lives to be better, to get to where we want to be, you don't have the room to complain anymore. I know that sounds mean, but like, you have the opportunity. So, water signs. All that being said, and the reason that I said this is because I feel like this is a time where you are going to be discovering a lot about yourself. I feel like you already have, because of these transits that we've been going through, been discovering more things about yourself. And I feel like what this stuck in fear card is talking about is giving like, I've been this particular way my entire life. My life has shifted. I'm being made aware by whatever circumstances that I'm a different person now. Like, I've grown, there's been healing, all the things, right? But I don't know what the authentic me looks like right now. I don't know who that is. And because I don't know who that is as a creative, because you guys know, a lot of the times, like, the people that are, what's the word? the people that gravitate toward us because of our authenticity, right? I feel like when we build our communities and we build our supporters and we build our followers, like we like to connect and like to um engage with like-minded people, right? And even if it's like-minded people that still have a different perception, right, of your art, of your creativity, because we know creativity is up for debate, right? But the core reason that those people engage with you and they can, what's the word, why do I keep wanting to say elaborate? Elaborate is not the word. They can, not me not knowing words, my God. They can relate. Girl, what? The reason that they could relate to you is because of that authenticity. People, as much as people want to believe that their fakeness or the costume that they put on isn't seen, like people peep that. People know authenticity when they see it. So let's get into this, okay? Because child, we have mind, we have inner voice, we have isolation, okay? We also have maturity, we have beyond illusion, and we have healing, okay? I am, y'all, I'm still so very, very angry that that video, like that reading was like so dope. I'm so mad that it got corrupted. Anyway, a lot of y'all can be in your mind because like I said, you don't know. It's giving like I don't know who I am, and I don't want that to mess up what I've built, right? I'm this new person. I'm figuring out this new person. I'm figuring out how to navigate my creativity as it pertains to me being a new person. And it's like you don't want your authenticity as a creator to be called into question, right? And the best advice that I can give you is to listen to your inner voice, right? Because the thing about your inner voice is, number one, it's led you this far, right? Whether right, wrong, indifferent, whatever, it's led you. You got this far, and you're still kicking, and you're still alive, and you still breathing. So you do something, right? But also, this is why I say that it's very important for us to know what our own inner voice sounds like, especially as creatives, especially as spiritual creatives, right? Because your inner voice, the inner voice of your ancestors, the inner voice of your spirit guides, your angels, whatever, though all of those things are going to feel and sound different. And so it's important for you to know what your inner voice sounds like so that as you move forward, you can discern what your inner voice is saying to you. That doesn't mean discount, the voice of your dead or, the voice of your spirit guides. That's not what I'm saying. But it's giving when the student is taking a test, the teacher is quiet. I'm like, it feels like a lot of y'all feel that way also, like, where my folks at? Like, why is it so quiet? It's quiet, and you may feel like you've been isolated because you need to figure out what that sounds like, right? Especially the mature version of your inner voice. You need to figure out what that sounds like. They haven't abandoned you. And y'all know I've talked about that at length in my own situations. Like, it was I want to say a couple of months, almost a year, right after I left my job, where I was like, yo, why are my people so quiet? Like, why am I talking to y'all and it doesn't feel like y'all are talking back in the ways that y'all usually do? And it was a couple of things. I feel like one, it was because they were like, you know what to do. Why are you coming to us and you already know what to do? I feel like that was part of it. And then the other part of it was like, you've grown, you've matured. And the way that you hear your own inner voice differently now as a mature, wiser person, you're going to hear our voice different as a mature, wiser person. So you feel what I'm saying? Like, you've grown. You've really grown, and I just feel like that's nothing. I don't even want to say nothing to be ashamed of because don't feel like it's shame that you're feeling. I feel like it's like, are people going to accept this new me? Are people going to accept this new version of creativity that I have to offer? Because I think I said this in the air sign reading or the earth sign reading, one of the two, but I was like, and I've said this in a live, you can't expect your external environment to change and you not change with it. As above, so below, as within, so without, right? You can't expect things to change around you and you not change as well. You don't have to, but let me tell you how uncomfortable it's going to be. Okay? So the thing about that is, now it's the fun part, right? Now you get to discover who you are all over again. And this discovery, like the card said, can also not just be bringing you new personal insights about yourself and your creative process, but it can also be bringing you people. It could be bringing you new opportunities that old you would have never been able to actualize, right? And so I want you guys to like really right now see beyond what your mind is telling you, because one thing that, and we don't know nothing else, and I hope that you know this. If not, let me teach you something, right? Let me school you something. Our minds do whatever the hell they want to sometimes. Our minds do their own thing. They perceive things in the way that they want to perceive them, especially when it feels like it's under attack. Your body is going to do whatever it needs to do to protect itself, right? And sometimes that means creating scenarios that just ain't true, right? Because what the truth of the matter is you have been healing. You have been going through massive transformation, water sign, and just like in your watery nature, a lot of that was you just going with the flow, learning how to surrender, right? Learning how to, which that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But you've been learning how to surrender. You've been learning how to really not do this, right? Not be the miser, not be grumpy and why do I have to go through this and why, like, it's more. I feel like for a lot of y'all kind of flipped that and was like, no, okay, I understand what the purpose of me going through this is. Let me just get through it. In the words of my sis Bree, let me just get through it. Let me get to the other side of it, right? And I feel like some of you have gotten to the other side of it, and you're ready to start this new journey, right? But again, the trepidation, this stuck in fear, is you not only not knowing where this journey is going to take you, but not even knowing what or who you're going to look like in the midst of it, right? But here's the dope thing. And this is the part that I remember in the last reading. Ooh, I got so excited. You have the lovers here with postponement. Baby, let me tell y'all something. First off, y'all know the lovers is okay, I'm a Gemini rising. I love this card. I feel two things about these two cards coming out together. Number one, in the last video, I used the example of how I feel like I create from two different places, right? You can say ego, higher self, yin yang. You can whatever duality you want to use, right? But one thing that I had to realize is that, and one thing for me, especially during these transits, okay, one thing that I'm coming out of these transits realizing is, yeah, I could utilize them separately, but when I put them together, right? And at first, when I came upon this realization, I was like irked with myself because I'm like, girl, why didn't you think of that sooner? But this is the thing, though. With this postponement here card, you wasn't supposed to think of it sooner. I wasn't supposed to realize that sooner. I was supposed to realize that in the moment that I realized it, because now I'm equipped to use it. Now I won't fumble it, right? So for some of y'all, you are realizing and discovering new things about yourself. You're discovering new ways that you want to articulate yourself, and new ways that you want to show up creatively, right? And you're like, damn, like, why didn't I realize this before? You didn't realize it before because you were supposed to go through this rebirth. You didn't realize it before because there were some things about you that you needed to let go in order to get to be able to dig to find that, right? Because for a lot of y'all, you've been you've been fighting yourself over what made you ask. I'm glad that you asked. Compromising. I don't know what you've been compromising, but compromising, right? This could be compromising. I don't feel like it's you like compromising your integrity or anything like that, but compromising how you showed up, compromising how authentic you let yourself be, right? Because we all know, like, there's just like sometimes I can't remember what other divination I said this in, but like sometimes you be like, damn, am I doing too much? Is this too much for the people? Should I pull back, right? That's a compromise. That is a compromise. Maybe if they can't take you at your fullness, they don't deserve it. Point blank, period. Some of you have been allowing the things that you have been conditioned to create projections, right? We could talk all day about projections coming from other people. That's very much so valid, right? But I feel like with this is you allowing yourself in the ways in which you've been conditioned to think, to believe, to behave, to create projections about your authenticity, about how you show up. And that's again why it's so important for you to learn what your inner voice sounds like. Is that your voice or is that the voice of some, I'm trying not to cuss so much until the extended. But is that somebody who could never do what you do? That put that thought in your head? Is that somebody that could never shoulder your burden? That could never, you know what I'm saying, go through the transformations and the rebirths that you've gone through? Huh? Oh, okay. And I know you're not out here fighting guilt. Guilty for what? For a lot of people, I feel like this is you. Download time. For some of y'all are really leaving a lot of people behind. And this is a side note. This is not going to be for everybody. If you know, you know. If I'm talking to you, you're going to know it. Please don't make it fit where it don't fit, okay? A lot of y'all are also leaving people behind. And I feel like you're fighting like survivor's guilt. And the thing about it is, people have a choice and people have options. Just like I was saying a little while ago about how if you come out of these transits untransited, you don't have the option to be complaining about why your life doesn't look the way that you want it to look, because we have the option right now to tell a different story, to do a different thing, right? Like, if you look around at all of the things that are going on in the world, right, collectively, even on a micro and a macro scale, it's all about change. It's all about pivoting. It's all about breaking down these structures that are no longer sustainable and probably wasn't sustainable at any point, right? But they were just put, like band-aids were just put on them, right? All of those things to say, I feel like people have a choice. You can choose to heal or you can choose not to heal. You can choose to do your shadow work. You can choose not to do your shadow work. You can choose to lean into your authentic creativity or you can choose not to. The people that you're leaving behind in whatever aspect, whatever you felt like you need to leave them behind, right, is valid. They made their choice. You made yours. What is there to be guilty about? And I feel like for a lot of y'all, it's because you chose to grow. You chose to, you know, heal. You chose to actively try to better your situation or to be a better person. And these other people are okay with where they are, and maybe that's fine. Be okay with where you are. You feel me? But that doesn't mean that I have to participate. Okay? Um, so yeah. I feel like for a lot of y'all, like, you had to come home to yourself before you could go on this journey, because there's things that you needed. This, to me, I love this card because it's a card of like wholeness, a card of completion, a card of just being one with oneself. I love this as a Gemini rising. I love this card. I do, because especially in this context that we're talking about right now, um I just feel like a lot of people are waking up in a lot of different ways. It's going to look different for everybody. But one thing that I really am enjoying seeing just in not just the creative collective, but just regardless, is a lot of people are being more authentic, unashamed, right? Again, like I said before, the people who are supposed to be your people, who are supposed to engage and supposed to relate to you, you're going to know them, right? So there's no need for you to try to pretend to be anything or anybody other than yourself, especially after you've done all this work. Spirit, can you give me well, one more. Can you give me one more card? Please give me one more card. Oh, y'all just wait. We have the Ace of Wands, the Devil, and the Page of Swords. Water signs. You better not. You better not. You better not. You came too far. You came too far. You healed too much. Don't do this. Do not do this. You have the Ace of Wands here with the Page of Swords. Initiation, action, curiosity. Go do the things that you are curious and excited about. Do the things that keep you mentally agile, that keeps you creative. Don't do this because it feels new and it feels unfamiliar and you would rather be comfortable. No ma'am, no sir, no Sadie. Do you feel me? You come too far to go back to this, to chain yourself to things for the sake of comfortability. You're not doing that. You don't need to do that. Why? Do I need to say anything else? Don't piss me off. Okay, Spirit, can we get the advice card? Can we get the advice card, Spirit? What's the advice for my water signs? I can't. I can't. It says renewal. Okay. You are entering a phase of renewal and fresh energy. Have you been feeling worn out? It's time to refresh yourself, whether by resting or changing your environment. New energy is on the way. The question now, water signs, is how are you going to alchemize it? And we are going to be talking more about that in the extended. So hopefully I will see you over there. The link is down below in the description. Like I said, they are $5.99 each for lifetime access. I hope to see you guys over there. If not, I hope you guys have an amazing April. Also, I am holding a sale on my um written divinations and my creative divinations, 30% off using the code SPRING. That's also down there in the description. So that will be running until about April 14th or 15th. So make sure you get in where you fit in, okay? I hope you guys have an amazing April. Be great, get bread, stay all the way live. It with everything being intentional. Have the April that you conjure. Peace.